Explain why. We are approaching one of the biggest decisions this country will face in our lifetimes, whether to remain in a reformed European Union or to leave.
That is ex-Prime Minister of the UK, David Cameron, officially announcing the United Kingdom European Union membership referendum, commonly known as Brexit. This was a vote to decide whether or not the United Kingdom would remain a member of the European Union or leave. The vote came down to a 51.9% in favor of leaving the EU, making it a very close call.
Well, at 20 minutes to 5, we can now say the decision taken in 1975 by this country to join the common market has been reversed by this referendum to leave the EU.
This topic of leaving the European Union has been a long debated topic in the UK, which made this referendum inherently very controversial. However, it became quickly apparent that disinformation played a big factor in this election. Disinformation has been a product of our development in technology. This technology is advertisement technology, commonly known as ad tech, where users can be targeted with a high degree of accuracy, allowing for media to target users that can be influenced. This leads to people with malintentions using this technology to disinform. Disinformation mostly happens online, where most people are using social media and online forums to stay informed. Disinformation can be dangerous because a lot of these sources lack an editor or a regulator to check the source for factual information. So this means that people can be easily misled with links and articles that are perceived to be high quality and well written. The examples of disinformation during the Brexit referendum mostly come down to three different types: political ads, media narratives, and fake outrage. Here is one example of a political ad with a false narrative. Shown on the screen right now is a political advertisement employed by the side that wanted to leave the UK. The ad states that Turkey's 76 million people are being granted visa-free trial if they join the EU. This ad is only partially true, as Turkey has been denied membership multiple times due to their human rights violations, and talks of their membership with the European Union have currently stalled. This is a clear example of a political ad trying to evoke a certain reaction in people, even though the narrative is false. The ad even goes out to highlight Turkey's neighboring countries, Syria and Iraq, which is a play to try and evoke fear for radical Islamic groups getting into the UK. Here's another example of false narratives within political ads during Brexit, where it says every week we send £350 million to the European Union, enough to build a new NHS hospital every 7 days. This ad has proved to use faulty numbers, as the money never actually gets sent to the EU, but is more a yearly contribution divided by the number of weeks. Furthermore, the true per week number is about 248 million, as this number used did not include rebates that the UK receives every year. The second example of disinformation is false narratives within mass media. These false narratives, similar to political ads, helped paint people in a bad light and furthered one side of the argument over the other, which is inherently biased media. Here's an example where the Daily Mail claimed that buses and flights from Romania and Bulgaria were sold out. After investigation, the claim was found out to be false, and the slight increase in transport back to the UK was because it was holiday season. However, immigration was a huge part of the Brexit referendum, and this article helped stir up outrage on social media. Another example is in this article, where the article calls asylum seekers illegal immigrants, and shows a misleading photo of the type of food they were receiving while being granted a short stay at a hotel. In reality, the asylum seekers were given a week of time to stay and food from a soup kitchen. The last example was fake outrage, where fake stories were spun up on social media to create a reaction and debate. Here's an example of a fake Amazon listing that went viral on Twitter, showing a notebook that had violent intentions against Brexiteers. Conservatives and nationalists in the UK became very vocal about the notebook, and it stirred up tons of attention on social media, especially Twitter. Furthermore, here's a bus station sign that was photoshopped and posted on Twitter to stir up a reaction. In the comments, Users clashed about the civility of the bus sign, and people took sides really quickly and started arguing, even though it was fake. Overall, using these three tactics of disinformation, it allowed all these stories, articles, false narratives, false advertisements to spread rampant on social media, where further debates were happening, which caused more disinformation and polarization within society. In terms of measures, there were no extensive measures taken by any social media platforms or news platforms during the actual 2016 referendum. Politicians on both sides were constantly calling out the other side for disinformation, but due to a mass distrust for politicians, nobody in the public eye really believed either side. The actual impact of this disinformation can't really be quantified. It is unknown whether or not the referendum would have truly been affected in terms of the result. However, this debate over disinformation rages on today in the UK and the US. Similar to the US, disinformation has led to a rise in political and social polarization. In conclusion, Brexit was only an example of disinformation and the harm it can bring. Technology has allowed and incentivized people with malintentions to mislead and spread disinformation because it is inherently engaging. Facebook and Twitter has since begun efforts to fact-check social media posts by prominent figures, and even ban political ads towards the last days of an election or referendum. However, this does not stop smaller accounts from spreading fake information, nor does it fully combat the issues of false narratives. This leads into the debate of whether or not political ads should be allowed in today's age. Personally, I believe using technology to combat this technology-born issue, like using AI-based content moderation for accounts that have the ability to influence a lot of people. However, there are a lot of issues that can arise from this, such as AI bias, and leaving moderation in the hands of private companies can create more bias. At the end of the day, it will be an uphill battle for disinformation in the upcoming years.